All right, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kadash HaShemach. Double honors to the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, which were well, and sincere salutations to sincere Ahchyam out there, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity. And this is the brother Shalah, the tribe of Benjamin, up here in Boston, coming at you with a quick lesson. I'm going to tell this lesson, be ready, because we are in those days and those times when when things are really going to pop off. And there's going to be war, and there's going to be violence and famine all over the four corners of the earth. And I'm going to begin this lesson in Matthew 24, starting at verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, like right now. After that attack in Iran that Trump pushed out, now Iran is in an uproar. And I recently watched a video saying that for the first time in history that Iran just put up a red flag over there in their capital above the dome, symbolizing that they're about to go into war. And sorry, Salakia, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes, and in diverse places. Khan. All these are the beginning of sorrows, and right now we are at the end of the beginning of sorrows, and now this is when things are going to really start to heat up, and there's going to be trouble and distress everywhere we go, especially over here in Babylon. And then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. That's the persecution that's coming upon us Israelites, many of those of us pushing this truth, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Like they're turning off videos on YouTube, and they're rising up against us, preacher prophesying the street corners, and it's going to intensify as time goes on. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And those false prophets, those like prophets who fell out the truth, who stopped believing because things didn't happen as fast as they wanted it to. And also and also like scoffers and scorners who continue to bad mouth and to bash those of us in this truth who push the truth and truth and sincerity on the highways and byways, and put up videos on the internet and in the comment section constantly bad mouthing and speaking against the men of the Lord. But what they don't realize, that's to their demise, and I'm going to get that over there in Jeremiah in a second. And verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's really taking place right now. Like each and every day I see more and more people, they're sick, they're distressed, they're really starting to show their true colors, especially these devils out here. They hate one another, and they're turning against one another. Even just a while ago I was going for a walk. I was in the store, I was purchasing some things, and I was being followed up right there inside the store. And there was this guy. He was fully dressed in a hoodie, and he had on all black, and he was trying to hide the fact that he was following me. But Thawada Yahweh Shem Mashek Yahushai, Yahushai protect Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he protected me. And when I finally get out the store, I looked around to see if he was still there, and he couldn't find me wherever he was. And so this is really a time for us Akim and Akwats out there and sincere listeners to be very wise and circumspect in the times that we're living in, because now it's going to get more and more dangerous, and we must be careful with everything we do. But we must continue to be diligent and to push this truth to the best of our ability. as much as we can each and every week. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all the nations, and then shall the end come. And this truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, waking up the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the one third, it's already taking place, and each and every day more and more of our people, the 12 tribes of Israel, as blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Latinos, and Seminole Indians, and those likened unto the speckled bird, we are waking up to who and what we are. And we're calling upon our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and we're praying and we're fasting and keeping the commands to the best of our ability. And the more and more that we're doing it over and over time, um, more and more of these prophecies are coming to pass. And the recent prophecy that came to pass was Babylon, America attacking Iran, and that's just the first step. Now we're really official, going into World War III. Um, Verse 15: when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field go back to take his clothes. Khan. We must be willing, and we must have a heart and to let things go. We gotta let these worldly pleasures go. We gotta let these everything that's coming against us to distract us from this truth, to distract us from to distract us from what's really going on. We have to learn, Ahchyam and Aquas, to let those things go. Friends, family, job, for us brothers, our wives, our kids, we must be willing to forsake all for Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and we'll get it all back in the kingdom. And from there, I'm going to go to Jeremiah chapter 24, starting at verse 5. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the power of Yasharallah. Like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away captive of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans, that's America, for their good. For I will set mine eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again to this land, and I will build them and not pull them down, and I will plant them and not pluck them up, and I will give them an heart to know me, and I that I am the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power. For they shall return unto me with their whole heart. Khan. That's talking about the 144,000 and the one third over here in the land of our captivity, and not only over here in Babylon, but all scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We're gonna return and come back to our power, Yahweh Shem Shai, with our whole heart and with our whole mind. But now going into verse 8 on down, this is going to talk about the two thirds, like those of our people who are not in the know, those who scoff and scorn, those who fell out the truth, those who don't believe, and they don't keep the commandments, and they don't care, and they put everything else before Yahweh Shem Shai. And verse 8, and as the evil figs which cannot be eaten, that they are so evil. Surely, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai, so will I give Zedekiah the king of Judah and his princes and the residue of Jerusalem that remain in the land, and them that dwell in the land of Egypt. It's the land of our captivity, Babylon, and I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt, and to be a reproach. Reproach means shame, and a proverb, and a taunt, and a curse, in all places whither I shall deliver them. And I will send the sword, and the famine, and the pestilence among them, till they be consumed from off the land that I gave unto them and to their fathers. Khan. And that and it's going to be very, very terrible for 2/3 of our people. As of course, as it's prophesied, like 2/3 of our people, they're gonna be cut off and die. And now I'm gonna go even deeper into it, like what's gonna be happening. Right over here in Jeremiah 25, start at verse 4. And and the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai has sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rise early. And so, like, let me start over. And the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai has sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them. But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. Thus saith, and they saith, turn ye again now, every one of you, from his evil way, and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yashai had given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever. And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands and with your own and to your own hurt. Verse 8, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, be verse 9, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord Yahweh Shai, and Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, my servants, and will bring them again against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment and a hissing and perpetual desolations. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, and the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, and the sound of the millstone, and the light of the candle. And that's exactly what's happening right now, as we all see in Babylon. Like all the partying, all the fun, all the games, and all the marriages and things that we see, it's all falling apart right before our very eyes every day. The women of our nation who walk around with pride, were high-minded and stiff-necked and rebellious. As of late, I'm starting to see, yes, they still got that pride, but there's like a dread and there's like a sorrow in the majority of the sisters that we see. A couple of days ago, I was talking to a sister, and she told me that she feels scared and she feels unsafe, and she's even taking up arms right now. And she got a license to bear arms, and because she wants that protection. But what she fails to realize is that guns and carnal weapons can't save you, especially in this time, especially in the time that we're living in right now. As the scripture says, some trust in chariots and some trust in horses, but we remember the name of the Lord Yahweh Shib Yahushai, our power. And from there, I'm gonna go to and a majority of our brothers and sisters who are resorting to carnal weapons and I would try to do anything besides seek after Yahweh Shib Yahushai to save their lives. They're gonna fail to realize that those carnal weapons and trying to save yourself, especially those of our people who um who will take the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, to try to save themselves and try to save their families. It's going to be to their destruction. It's going to be to their demise. And from there, I'm going to go. mm, I'll go to Jeremiah chapter 16. And this is a chapter I always go to when it always refers me back to this days and times that we're living in. Jeremiah chapter 16, I'll start at verse 1. The word of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yashai came also unto me, saying, thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons and or daughters in this place, because now's not the time to have that Noah spirit, that joyous spirit, that mirth, that party, and that happy. Like I see like brothers and sisters. They say, "Oh man, I'm gonna get married next week." Like, "Ooh, I want you to come to my wedding." Or you hear some sisters say like, "Ooh man, I found this great guy, and I'm thinking about getting married." Like in these days and times that we're living in, like now's not the time to be like as Paul said in the New Testament, if you don't have a wife, seek not a wife. And those of you who have wives, be as though you have none. Verse 3. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that beget them in this land, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcass shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. Con. There's going to be a lot of death, a lot of famine, a lot of destruction that's going to take place in this very land, Babylon. It's going to get hit the worst out of all the other countries and all the other nations of the earth. Babylon over here is going to be hit the worst, man. And so now's not really the time to be have that Noah spirit to be, as the scripture says, in the days of Noah, men were eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage, as we see today. But then swiftly came destruction, and that's exactly what's coming right now. And for those of our people who are distracted and don't care, like they're gonna get hit the worst. Like they're gonna be in derision. Like they're gonna be confused. They're gonna be shocked and surprised. They're gonna bug out and go crazy when all hell breaks loose over here in the land of Babylon. But for those of us, but for those brothers who are of the hopeful elect, 144,000 and the one third, who trust and believe and put all their faith and hope and trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you're gonna be perfectly fine. You're perfectly safe, and not just you, my brothers, but also your wife, if you have one, and your children also. They'll be safe and they'll be protected, especially if you have the 144,000 one third, brothers and sisters. Like you'll be safe and you'll be all right, and there will be a lot of divine intervention which will be needed because there's going to be so much going on that you really need to pray, you really need to fast, and we really need to pray for mercy. Like Psalms 51, that should be our number one prayer every single day. Pray that Yahweh Shem Yahshai have mercy upon us, and He doesn't take the Holy Spirit, the Rakadash, away from us. And that we'll be able to keep a stable mind and and stay focused and stay diligent and endure to the very end in these days and times. And for that right there, I hope you are edified. Hopefully, I'll come up with a part two of this lesson because there's a whole lot more to go into. And for that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ra Kadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, which were well, and salutation to the sincere Ahchyam out there, for this truth and sincerity. For that, I say Shalom.